Security guarantees on the table, says Russia is open to some security guarantees. Is this a precursor for the three-year-old war to finally end? The Signal Gate drama is far from over. The Yemen chat leak scandal is now exploding as Pentagon orders a probe against Trump aide Pete Hegseth. What happens next, and will this come all the way to the president, is the key question. And Donald Trump has Marine Le Pen's back. He voices support for the French far-right leader and calls Le Pen trial a witch hunt. All right, the big story this week is from Colombo, Sri Lanka, where Prime Minister Modi is all set to arrive in the next couple of minutes. In fact, Prime Minister Modi's visit will be the first ever by a foreign leader since President Anura Kumara Dissanayake took charge as the new president. What lies ahead between India and Sri Lanka? Well, three key areas of focus: economic engagement, defense, and security and strategic partnerships, all likely to be the focus areas in the three-day visit of Prime Minister Modi, where he's also going to be inaugurating some key projects related to railways, power, and those that are being funded with heavy assistance from India. Remember, this meeting comes at a time when Sri Lankan economy is just beginning to recover from the 2022 economic disaster, where it was India that aided and supported Colombo towards recovery. Since then, the $4 billion credit line that India had extended during those times has helped the Sri Lankan economy significantly, and the next phase of growth and development for Sri Lanka could be what this meeting is all about. Of course, common areas of concern, common strategic areas will be a key focus area. As I said, defense being one of them. A possible mutual cooperation agreement could be on the cards. What will that entail? How will that play out in terms of the Indo-Pacific role and importance of India? And could this be the final card to really cut China to size? Is the key question that we'll watch out for. Tomorrow is when the delegation level talks, the heads of state level talks will take place, and that is when the fine print of the next phase of the India-Sri Lanka relationship would really be known. One thing is clear, that as Prime Minister Modi heads to Anuradhapuram on the third day of his visit, it's a very clear message politically as well as geopolitically, because that's a place that matters both to AKD as well as Prime Minister Modi. So as I said, a lot on the table, a lot of ground to cover, and could really be the most far-reaching and consequential trip in a long time. All right, the first wide-angle story on the show coming in from BIMSTEC. Well, on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC summit, what took place was a very consequential meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Mohammad-Yunus, the first since the 5th of August student revolution that took place in Bangladesh, shook the power equations, ousted Sheikh Hasina, and since then the vitriolic, or some would even say venomous, the conversation coming in from Bangladesh impacting the relationship. This report tells you that what could be the road to recovery for the Dhaka-New Delhi relationship from here on. Take a look.
At the BIMSTEC summit, amidst the diplomatic fury, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's meeting with Bangladesh's chief advisor Mohammad-Yunus wasn't just a routine handshake. It was a bold statement. Modi raised the red flag over the safety of minorities in Bangladesh, particularly Hindus, urging the Bangladeshi government to ensure their security and thoroughly investigate cases of atrocities. But Prime Minister Modi didn't stop there. While he drew the line on critical issues, his message was clear. India remains open to dialogue. Like a responsible big brother, India isn't just pointing fingers. It's offering a hand of constructive engagement.
Prime Minister reiterated India's support for a democratic, stable, peaceful, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. He once again underlined to Professor Yunus India's desire to forge a positive and constructive relationship with Bangladesh.
The Prime Minister touched on border security, emphasizing strict law enforcement and curbing illegal crossings, especially at night. It was a masterstroke, balancing firmness with flexibility, concern with cooperation.
This meeting took place at a time when the centre informed Parliament that 2,400 incidents of violence and atrocities against minorities have been committed in Bangladesh since 5th of August. Remains to be seen what will be the road to recovery after this crucial meeting between the two leaders. Second wide-angle story on the show. Finally, it seems that there could be some peace in sight in the Russia-Ukraine war. Or could this be another measure, another round of optics, with Russia saying that it is now open to security guarantees? It's been over 3 years. The West wants a solution. Which way would it be? Will Putin, who's been dragging his feet, finally come around on the negotiating table? This report has all the answers for you.
In Washington, Russia's top negotiator Kirill Dmitriev hinted at a possible breakthrough. Security guarantees for Ukraine may be acceptable. But don't let the words fool you. This isn't a peace offer, it's a diplomatic smoke signal. After 2 days of talks with Trump's envoy, Dmitriev claimed a positive outcome. Yet, Ukraine continues to face relentless missile strikes, civilian casualties, and an impending Russian offensive. Meanwhile, Britain and France accuse Putin of dragging his feet, calling his tactics a classic case of buying time while the clock runs out. As Ukraine's allies push for a ceasefire, Russia's message is clear. We'll talk, but we'll also fight. With NATO's coalition ready to police any future peace deal, the question remains, will Putin play ball, or is this just another round of diplomatic theatre?
All right, on that note, a quick break. We come back with lots more on the other side. Stay with us.
Whatever you need to ask about cancer, Macmillan's free support line is just a call away.
Hello, Macmillan.
Whether it's money,
am I going to lose my job?
Getting on with life,
Can I still go abroad? Get insurance?
or just need someone to listen,
How do I tell them?
our specialist advisors are here to help as often as you need them. Whatever you need to ask, cancer, money, life, call us now on 0808 134 1000.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring, because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
Hey, look at our Simply Safe home security system.
Let's install it.
We need another camera.
What for?
They're collectibles. What?
Now you've got a camera each.
Yay!
Systems start from under £200 when you buy a professional monitoring plan. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
This baby bear is terrified. Torn from her mother's paws at a tender age. They will force her to live alone in a tiny, filthy cage, like so many bears driven mad by loneliness, rubbing their wounds raw against the bars, suffering cruelly day after day, year after year, just for people's entertainment. Four Paws found little Potap crammed into a tiny, squalid cage. He'd been there for almost 9 years, lonely and isolated. There are so many more young bears who need your help. Please call 0800 038 0455 or text CUB3 to 78866 and give £2 a month to help rescue them. Every month, your £2 could help us free more bears. Help give bears the veterinary care they need and help them live happy, healthy lives in the freedom of our natural sanctuaries. Call 0800 038 0455 or text CUB3 to 78866 and give £2 a month and help Four Paws free bears from agonising torture. Please, don't leave these bears to suffer for a single day more.
Welcome back. You're watching India Sense. I now turn attention to a story that's probably distressing because it talks about the plight of our countrymen who are now trapped in jails overseas under harsh conditions in Saudi Arabia, UAE, and we're talking about large numbers, 10,000 Indians. This report tells you what has the government been doing to try and get them back and which are those countries where they've been trapped the most. Take a look.
The iron bars of foreign jails, cold stone walls, and the silence of uncertainty. This is the grim reality for over 10,000 Indian nationals languishing behind bars in 86 countries. Some as under trials, some enduring sentences that seem to have no end in sight. Saudi Arabia and the UAE, where more than 4,000 Indians are incarcerated, top this disturbing list. In recent years, many have found themselves behind bars, with reasons ranging from petty offences to unfortunate legal missteps. The Indian government's response, led by the Ministry of External Affairs, is unwavering, constantly working with local authorities for their release. Yet, despite transfer of sentenced prisons agreement with 12 countries, only 8 prisoners have been brought back to India in the last 3 years. But hope is not lost. Since 2014, India's diplomatic efforts have yielded great results. Nearly 10,000 Indians have been released from foreign prisons, thanks to persistent negotiations and personal intervention from Prime Minister Modi. The release of Indian prisoners from countries like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Qatar highlights a growing global diplomatic posture and stature for India. High-profile cases such as the release of Indian Navy veterans from Qatar and the freeing of Indian fishermen from Sri Lanka only underline successful negotiations. This isn't just an issue about prisoners, it's about the lives and families left behind. It's about the unseen struggles of those who wait, waiting for justice, waiting for the return of their loved ones. As this battle continues to unfold, one thing remains clear. India is not backing down, the fight for freedom is far from over, and the voices of those behind bars will not go unheard.
All right, let's now turn attention to Marine Le Pen, the embattled French far-right leader who's in fact, been convicted of embezzlement of funds and has been barred from running for office. But guess who has her back now? It's Donald Trump, who feels this is nothing but witch hunt. This report tells you why that is the most significant development in the US-Europe relations.
Trump is once again stirring the pot on the global stage, backing Marine Le Pen, the French far-right firebrand, after a Paris court sentenced her for embezzling EU funds. Le Pen, barred from holding political office for 5 years, had been eyeing a run for president in 2027. But Trump, ever the controversial figure, has thrown his support behind her, calling the conviction a politically motivated witch hunt and equating it to his own legal battles. Trump's endorsement is part of a broader pattern of support for far-right leaders in Europe. including his backing of the Alternative for Germany AfD party and the controversial Romanian candidate Calin Georgescu. After his America First doctrine, Trump is not just challenging traditional American foreign policy, but aligning with populist movements across the Atlantic. In his post, Trump blasted European leftists for using lawfare, weaponizing the legal system to stifle free speech and silence political rivals. He compared Le Pen's conviction to his own struggles with the legal system, painting both as victims of an orchestrated campaign by corrupt lawyers and politicians. Le Pen, who insists her conviction is politically motivated, has vowed to appeal the court's ruling. But the political fallout in France is palpable, as Trump's support further deepens the transatlantic rift between populists and mainstream politicians.
Top Voice segment on the show, where we get you the two biggest voices on the biggest story unfolding this week. Amitendu Palit joining me from Singapore, Rick Rosso joining me from Washington, D.C. on a story that has rattled equity markets, investors, economies, countries around the world. The Donald Trump tariff bomb that has hit the world. Amitendu Palit, let me start with you. We now know it's 27 plus 10% for India, but I want to understand from you that what is it that India can do in terms of retaliatory tariffs or any other measure that we can do to protect our trade with the US?
My sense, Gauri, is that unlike 2018, when the steel and aluminium tariffs saw retaliation from India along with a number of other countries, on this occasion, even if there is a retaliation, that retaliation is likely to be basically symbolic and selective. I don't think India will go for a one-on-one tit-for-tat kind of retaliation, and that is because of the fact that one, there is a view that if these relative tariffs are considered, then given the fact that the relative tariff rate on a lot of competitive countries for India has been more than that of India. So in some sense, there is a comparative advantage that India might see in this respect when it comes to exporting to the United States, that its products will be tariffed at a lower rate on several items on which its competitors are also exporting to the US, which are being imposed tariffs at a higher rate. So that could be one reason for India not trying to complicate matters by retaliation, because there's a point over here. If you look at the executive order that has come out from the White House, the Section 4, which is the modification authority, has a provision over there. It's the 4B part of the agreement, which says that if there is a retaliation, then there would be an adjustment to the tariffs, in the sense that a retaliation is also going to invite further retaliation.
Rick, let me then ask you the other side to it. You know, countries around the world are rattled, but so is the American stock market and the American consumer, many would believe. What do you think could be the impact on Trump's core constituency?
I think when we look at a trade agreement is much, much more than tariffs. And I think that this was very clear from the joint statement that India and the US put out during Prime Minister Modi's visit, which mentioned that they're actually going to negotiate a comprehensive trade agreement which covers not only trade in goods and services, but also investment and a large number of other connected trade issues. So I think it's important here from a negotiating perspective to check the fact that all negotiating energies and focus are not going to be consumed just by tariffs. Tariffs could be a way of a give and take approach, in the sense that if there is an offer made by India to the United States of market access by lowering its tariffs in a particular sector, then India would expect something from the United States in return, and that may not necessarily be through a tariff reduction, but through some other kind of market access commitment as well.
Amitendu, stay with me. Amitendu, stay with me because you were talking about the negotiations aspect of it as to the opportunities it throws up for India. Amitendu, I want you to stay with me because I was asking Rick Rosso the question earlier, which is that what about the American consumer? It's not like countries around the world are the only ones rattled. So is the American stock market, isn't it?
Well, I think President Trump is playing more to his base than to the American public at large. A lot of the states that he was able to pull in are states that had been former industrial bases in the United States. And for them, economic hardship is already there, and they hadn't really seen a lot of hope. So I think the signal that he picked up from the base, whether that proves to be correct or not, they're hoping that tariffs help save a few factories, maybe bring a new few factories in. And they would rather take that as the upside while suffering some level of pain by increased prices, to kind of be borne by the entire country. So that's the big question, are they going to save enough jobs and factories and bring in some new ones to make up for the economic hardship we all kind of expect? But this definitely wasn't a move that's done for the nation. It's done for a few communities that have helped President Trump win 2 of the last 3 elections.
Right. Okay, Rick, I want to ask you this, that what about the impact? You mentioned that there will be an impact, but what would be that impact in terms of any numbers you can throw right now? Rick.
Well, I've seen numbers saying that the average car is going to cost, $5,000 or $6,000 more than it was before, that the American economic growth rate, which had been 2.5%, 3%, that would probably get slashed in half, if this happens. And of course, they bake in the cake not just the U.S. tariffs, but what are the reactions from other trade partners going to be as they begin imposing punitive tariffs on the United States? So, I think the worst case scenarios kind of depend on how other countries react to this. Some like India, we do think, there may be a potential deal on the table, but a lot of other countries have talked about trying to increase economic pressure on the United States, which is only going to worsen things. So yeah, big stuff is going to be a lot more expensive. Stuff we import is going to be a lot more expensive. And the economy overall is the economic prospects are going to dim. We've already seen a pretty big hit in the stock market today. So far, even the initial reactions economically are pretty rough.
Amitendu Palik and Rick Rosso, thanks much for giving me that update and our viewers as to what is the kind of impact that we are talking about. Let's now turn our attention to the Worldview segment on the show.
The mightiest can fall as South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol faces rebellion charges for his controversial martial law decree. What seemed like an act of power has plunged the nation into chaos. Yoon's desperate declaration of martial law, lasting only 6 hours, echoes memories of dictatorship and reignites political divisions. Prosecutors charge him with rebellion, a crime punishable by death or life imprisonment. With power comes great responsibility, but when that power is abused, even the strongest must answer. The Pentagon investigation could very well be the beginning of the end for Trump's Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Classified details about strike timings, aircraft models, and missile launches must be kept under lock and key. Hegseth's team updates defense isn't holding water, and with classified information slipping through the cracks, the walls are closing in. The investigation could be the start of the unraveling of more than just one Korea. Is Gen Z lazy? Think again, because they are mastering something you might have missed: the art of knowing when to quit. Oxford professor Katrien Devolder says they're not lazy, they're practicing justified effort management. And it's a game changer. No more grinding till you're dead on your feet. Gen Z knows when to hit pause and when to push forward. Their mantra: smart rest equals smarter results. Maybe it's time we all learn from them. Stop glorifying burnout and start celebrating strategic chill.
Well, that's a thought to end this show with. Thanks so much for watching this edition of India Sense, coming to you live from Colombo.
From Bangkok to Colombo, Prime Minister Modi's three-day mission to redefine India's global influence. Economic hawks Richard Rosso and Amitindu Paulin decode the India-US tariff standoff. And locked up but not forgotten, 10,000 Indians behind bars and New Delhi's fierce fight to get them back home.
All this and more only on India Sense with me, Katrien Devolder, at these timings on the NDTV network.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements, new appliances, a car, or for some of life's big moments. So even if you've had problems with credit before, Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes. Evlo, your future in your hands.
Now I'm retired, I can spend more time with my grandson. I'm proud of him and want to help any way I can. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
Well, that's good to know.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money can help with my funeral costs or even be used as a gift. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Thanks, Mum, for everything.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
This baby bear is terrified. Torn from her mother's paws at a tender age. They will force her to live alone in a tiny, filthy cage, like so many bears driven mad by loneliness, rubbing their wounds raw against the bars, suffering cruelly day after day, year after year, just for people's entertainment. Four Paws found little Potap crammed into a tiny, squalid cage. He'd been there for almost 9 years, lonely and isolated. There are so many more young bears who need your help. Please call 0800 038 0496 or text BEAR5 to 70800 to give £3 a month via your mobile phone. Every month, your £3 could help us free more bears. Help give bears the veterinary care they need and help them live happy, healthy lives in the freedom of our natural sanctuaries. Please call 0800 038 0496 or text BEAR5 to 70800 to give £3 a month via your mobile phone and help Four Paws free bears from agonising torture. Please, don't leave these bears to suffer for a single day more.
Our first year as a family flew by. And now, I want to make sure he'll be financially protected for all his birthdays to come. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote for family life insurance.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
That's great.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
And with our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0808 141 5855 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma, but so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pamelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 021 3925 and giving £2 a month to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 021 3925, text C7 to 82727, or go online and give just £2 a month now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
The governor then sent the bill, after it was passed for the second time, to the president for assent. And M.K. Stalin today informed the Tamil Nadu Assembly that the presidential assent has been denied for that bill. The DMK and several Tamil Nadu political parties, including the principal opposition, the AIADMK, have been fiercely against the NEET system for medical college admissions and had backed the anti-NEET bill. They argue that the central system puts poor rural students at a disadvantage. The centre has refuted that argument and backed NEET. This issue, of course, in the backdrop of the confrontation over NEP delimitation and the Waqf controversy, only sets the stage for the escalating political face-off.
மக்களால் தேர்ந்தெடுக்கப்பட்ட மாநில சட்டமன்றத்தின் மாண்பினை அவமதித்துள்ள ஒன்றிய அரசின் இத்தகைய எதேச்சதிகார போக்கு அரசமைப்பு சட்டம் தந்துள்ள கூட்டாட்சி கருத்தியல் வரலாற்றில் ஒரு கருப்பு அத்தியாயம். தமிழ்நாட்டு மக்களின் எண்ணங்களையும் இந்த பேரவையின் தீர்மானங்களையும் ஒன்றிய அரசு கருத்தில் கொள்ளவே இல்லை. இதனை மக்கள் கவனித்து கொண்டுதான் இருக்கிறார்கள். மாண்புமிகு பேரவைத் தலைவர் அவர்களே, ஒன்றிய அரசு நமது கோரிக்கையை நிராகரித்திருக்கலாம். ஆனால் நீட் தேர்வு முறையை அகற்றுவதற்கான நமது போராட்டம் எந்த வகையிலும் முடிந்துவிடவில்லை என்பதையும்.
So what next on that NEET face-off? Joining me this evening in a bit, Selam Dharanitharan of the DMK will join us, Vinod P. Selvam of the BJP and Apsara Reddy of the AIADMK with us this evening. Vinod, Selvam, the first question to you. The denial of assent is an assault on the federal principles, argues the DMK. This will actually only bolster that argument, as a bill almost unanimously passed by the State Assembly has been denied assent by the President under the advice of the central government. How would you respond?
See, we've had this debate over and over again, and it is very important to again remind all the viewers that the NEET, which is in practice now, was first introduced in the year 2013, when the very same DMK was a part of the UPA back then. They were in alliance with the Congress when the NEET was planned and it was ready for implementation. The NEET came into practice, came into effect after a lot of rounds of, after the Supreme Court intervened and the Supreme Court said that, NEET is necessary, essential to be brought about. Now, in the 2021, the Chief Minister and his son came out and lied to the people that they knew the secret to make sure that NEET goes away for the students of Tamil Nadu. But 4 years down the line, they've still not told the secret to the people. The secret still remains a secret, and NEET is still in practice. All the deaths so far which have happened in Tamil Nadu, student deaths, DMK has blood on its hands. DMK has been entirely responsible for the students who committed suicide, listening to the lies of the DMK over the years that they will make sure that NEET goes away. An examination which has been brought into practice after the Supreme Court intervened and ruled that the NEET examination is necessary to be conducted to bring about a uniformity across the nation and to make sure merit is being followed for students to join the medical examinations.
Selam Dharanitharan, respond to what Vinod P. Selvam has said first, and then I'll go to Apsara Reddy. I know, Apsara, you're raring to go as well, but let Selam Dharanitharan respond first, please.
Which is not factual what Vinod P. Selvam said. See, the firstly and foremost, there were PMPD, pre-medical, pre-dental test that has been happening for more than 50, 60 years, only for union government exams. They wanted to replace that. like how AIEEE was replaced and merged with IIT-JEE, only for union government exams, and whichever state wanted to use NEET could recruit students from a NEET exam for the medical college. This was the provision in 2013. It was not mandated for all the states. It only wanted to replace PMPD with another exam, and whichever state voluntarily wants to choose from NEET could do so. That's all. Or individual colleges could do so. That's all. That was the only condition. But then BJP in 2016, when ADMK was in alliance with BJP, brought about the NEET exam, which is mandated on states. That is the problem. And here again, question is, constitutional experts like PDT Acharya have made it categorically clear that governors and presidents can't sit on a bill forever. The bill can't be gubernatorial procrastination is not allowed. It is made profoundly clear. The governor, first of all, was sitting on this bill for 2 years. We kept protesting, and then he sends it to the president. That again, Supreme Court has again said the governors cannot arbitrarily send bills to the president. And second, the president sat on the bill and then has used her veto power, which is not supposed to be used. And another important point which you want to make, 1 second. The important point is that a governor can only send a bill to the president only if it undermine the position of the High Court or a Supreme Court. Why was this bill sent to the Supreme Court now? Sorry, why was the bill sent to the president? That itself is constitutionally not right.
These questions, you've raised the point. These questions are in fact before the apex court as well. Apsara Reddy, I'm going to turn from the constitutional face-off to the political face-off as well. The AIADMK on one side seems to be warming up to the BJP for an alliance, but at the same time, you are also in favor of the NEET bill. Where does that leave the AIADMK on this entire debate? What's the position?
AIDMK and BJP, when in alliance, did not bring about the NEET. It was the Congress and the DMK which brought about the NEET. AIDMK has always maintained that NEET is not needed for Tamil Nadu, but after the court has stipulated that you can't do away with NEET, there's nothing much you can do. You can only modify the act to suit the state students, which Mr. Edappadi Palanichami has done the 7.5% reservation for students of government schools so that they can enter the medical fraternity. Similarly, when we come back to power in 2026, Mr. Edappadi Palanichami is navigating and maneuvering a plan to add 2.5% to that to have a 10% reservation for NEET entrance from Tamil Nadu. When there's constant deaths because of NEET, DMK politicizes it. The chief minister and his son, the Udayanidhi Stalin, said they have a secret to do away with NEET despite the court stipulation. They made false promises to the people and came to power. The DMK, manifesto was filled with lies and promises they can't fulfill. NEET was one of those promises that they can't fulfill. They continue to hoodwink the public by saying they're doing their best for NEET. But, when you work with the central government and the contours of a policy, you have to work within the democratic political setup to kind of, make it best for your state and modify amend the law in such a way that it suits your state. You can't just protest and use the language that the DMK uses to do away with NEET. The best thing to do is to equip your students, to prepare the students, add more scholarships, add more coaching centers, prevent, add more suicide helplines.
No, you're making a nuanced point on the state of education, but the fact is that this is also a political face-off. Let me come back to you, Vinod P. Selvan. The fact that the core argument that's been put forth by the DMK and Salem Dharanitharan is that why was it sent, first of all, to the president? A, they've raised the matter before the apex court as well. B, irrespective of what the issue is, when a bill has been passed by the state assembly virtually, fully, unanimously, I'm not saying completely unanimous, but most, including the principal opposition and the ruling party, were in favor of it, not allowing that bill to turn into a law would be seen as an assault on federalism, at least in the political portrayal.
See, this particular issue of NEET is nothing but politics for the DMK. Let's understand one thing. No state in the country has opted out of the NEET examination. To become an engineer, to become an architect, to become any, in any profession, everyone, all these students go through several examinations. Lawyers, they all go through examinations to qualify for these professions. A doctor who is responsible for the lives of thousands of people, what is the difficulty or what is wrong in having a common examination for all? The reason why the DMK is objecting to this is because they had a habit of collecting capitation, huge capitation, crores of money. Only the rich could become doctors in Tamil Nadu. Only if you had a few crores, you could become a doctor in Tamil Nadu. And most of these medical colleges, just like the CBSE schools, are being run by the DMK people. The DMK MLAs, the DMK MPs, they continue to run most of the medical institutions. And now the coffers are not getting filled up because of NEET examination. Now the son or the daughter of a watchman, of a auto rickshawala, of anyone can pass the exams and by merit become a doctor. And that is why NEET was introduced. And the DMK has always been anti-poor.
The merit argument is what Vinod P. Selvam is saying. Go ahead, respond.
No, I also, I just intervene for 1 second? I have a question directly to the DMK spokesperson. I have a direct question to Mr. Salem Dharanidharan.
Go ahead.
From the DMK, I think the Deputy Chief Minister said before coming to power that they had the secret to do away with NEET. So what is the DMK secret? I'd like to know.
So first I'll answer Vinod P. Selvan. Please don't interrupt me. So please don't interrupt me so that I'll need some detailed reply. See, firstly and foremost, what is merit? Any entrance exam is antithesis to the concept of merit. I am not saying it. Scholars across the world researching on entrance exams have said your scores in entrance exam is directly proportional to parental income, parental wealth, parental education, and generational wealth. It's profoundly clear. That's why even Ivy League colleges have done away with entrance exam. Here in Tamil Nadu, how do we plan to recruit students? Through school exams. It is not that NEET does away with capitation fees. In fact, 60% of the students who clear NEET, 60% of the people who write exam clear NEET, which is about in Tamil Nadu, 150,000 students write about NEET, 90,000 people clear. And now 10,000 seats in the government colleges are through merit. Right, remaining 10,000 seats, anyways 80,000 students are competing. So as per elasticity in economics, the capitation fees won't reduce. But in that 10,000 seats of the government college, it is through entrance exam. For entrance exam, government school students would have to prepare for a competitive exam. Preparing for competitive exam costs about 3 lakhs to 6 lakhs, which is about 2 times to 4 times the median per capita income of this land, which at least 90% of the population cannot afford. Why? IIT exams are cleared by 90% from quota-based coaching institutes.
Look, I don't have, this is an important point that's been made. It's a point, there are two sides to this story, and I agree with it. You both made the point as far as merit and the other argument as well is concerned. But let me just come to the last political question because I'm just running completely out of time. Last 30 seconds, Apsara Reddy, does this issue come in the way of a potential BJP-AIADMK alliance? The fact that, delimitation, or whether it comes to the NEP controversy, the AIADMK stand technically is with the DMK and against the central government.
AIADMK is the party which will always stand for the welfare and the rights of the people of Tamil Nadu. And I think it's too premature to assume that BJP and AIADMK are coming together because of the meeting with the Home Minister. The opposition leader, Edappadi Palaniswamy sir, has met Mr. Amit Shah in Delhi. But to talk about an alliance is very premature. It could be to represent issues of the state that Mr. Edappadi went to Delhi. And if and when an alliance were to happen hypothetically, I'm sure there will be a way to work out the modalities that benefit the state, because the state-central partnership with AIADMK and BJP when we were in power and BJP was at the center has been remarkable. I think the state component of the funds and the central component of the funds have actually brought about a lot of welfare measures, medical colleges, highways, education. It's been a great partnership. So I'm not going to commit on the alliance, but if it were to happen, I think it will be in the benefit of the state.
My inference from what you've just said is that while you say it's premature, you're also saying that there is a way into this alliance as well, despite these sticking points. But thanks very much to all three of you for joining us on the show this evening. Now to an alleged death by suicide in Bengaluru that has become a political flashpoint. A 39-year-old who was reportedly a BJP worker died by suicide, and his last social media post allegedly blames Congress MLA and Chief Minister's legal advisor of harassment. A section of BJP leaders have demanded a CBI probe and claimed that the BJP worker was targeted. The Congress denies the charge. Deepak Bupanna, my colleague, has the details.
Distressed family members, anxious police officers, and agitated BJP leaders at the Ambedkar Medical College, where the post-mortem on the body of BJP worker Vinay Somaya was conducted. Vinay was found dead at his office in Bengaluru. His suicide note, where he has alleged harassment from Congress leaders, is what has raised several questions.
he'll be an admin of a WhatsApp group called Kodagina Samasyegalu, where it's an open group where the members are given an opportunity to discuss about the various problems which are happening in Kodagu. So their photo with MLA of Virajpet, A.S. Ponnanna, that comes to be published. So immediately after the FIR, it's a non-bailable offence were added.
Man in the eye of the storm, A.S. Ponnanna has denied the charges.
No, the BJP, it does not surprise me because they are like vultures. They will jump there and hoist their flag and politicize the issue. I have never spoken to him. I have never met him. I have never had any conversation with him ever. And so far as he says,
BJP leaders who claim Vinay was a party worker have begun targeting the Congress leadership for the alleged suicide. Congress says a full probe into the case will be ordered.
I am very sad today we lost our worker. That is one thing. See, second thing is, why these MLAs and the Congress leaders are so arrogant and harassing our party leaders and the cadres. See, there is so many things behind this case. So I demand CBI inquiry into this case.
ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ DCP ಅವರು ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ವರದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಅನೇಕ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾಗಲಿ ಸತ್ಯ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನು ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಸತ್ಯ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕೋ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವನ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಾರಣ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂಥದ್ದೇನಾದರೂ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾರ್ದಾದ್ರೂ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದು ತನಿಖೆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. FIR ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ತನಿಖೆ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಯಾರೇ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ.
Here at the Ambedkar Medical College in Bengaluru, the mortal remains of Vinay has been brought in for a post-mortem. While on one hand, the police and the medical investigations are currently going on, politics has begun already on the matter, with the BJP saying he's a karyakarta of their party. The Congress party at this point in time, led by the Home Minister, says that the investigation will be thorough and any evidence that they find against anyone, action will be initiated. But the BJP begs to differ. They say in similar instances, the Congress party has given a clean chit to their legislators when their names have cropped up in suicides in the past, and now are saying it is only the CBI that can do justice in the matter. With video journalist Govind, this is Deepak Bopana for NDTV.
Well, so for a quick face-off on that issue, we have with us from the BJP, Surbhi Hodigare, and Congress's Sadashib Shivanna. First to you, Surbhi Hodigare. Before categorical facts are put out, has there been a premature effort to politicize a tragic suicide?
Premature effort to politicize something. He's written in his suicide note that these were the concerns that were raised, that these are the people who put pressure on him, made his life hell. I mean, Shatavi should understand this. This is a karyakarta. This is a member of our family and a parivar. And let me remind you that this is not only a one-off case. This government has been vicious. It has been incredibly vicious in targeting those who have been, speaking their mind freely. Okay, fine, let the investigation be done. Tell me why the names have not been included in the FIR. When there is an absolute clarity on the death note that these MLAs have put pressure, why have they not been included in the FIR? This government has been using government machineries to suppress free speech here in Karnataka. This is an incredibly vicious government, and I speak with a very, very, very heavy heart. Don't tell me that somebody takes an extreme step like this if the circumstances have not been extreme as well. That is what we are going through today. We are on the ground. We are making sure that the FIR is lodged freely and fairly. We are making sure that the probe is free and fair. This is a man who has been working in a private company, has a senior position, a person who has a family, a wife, a daughter, a young daughter. We are extremely pained that this is the circumstance that we have to see today. The BJP is standing strong behind the family and ensuring that a fair probe will be done. The Congress government, what has
Sadaship,
been done? Why these FIRs? Why this viciousness?
Sadaship Shivanna, respond to the questions raised by Surbhi Odigare.
See, firstly, the untimely and tragic death of a youngster, Vinay Somaya, is unfortunate and it is very disturbing. I sincerely urge the opposition not to politicize this sensitive matter. Exploiting public grief for political mileage is distasteful, and justice and healing, cannot be achieved through sensationalism. Now, Mr. Ponnana is not just a senior political leader, but also a towering figure in the legal fraternity. I have had the privilege of knowing him personally, and I can vouch for his adherence to constitutional principles, rule of law, and spirit of justice. Reckless allegations being made against him must be made with utmost caution. Now, coming to the facts of the matter, it is true that Mr. Vinay had shared and posted certain objectionable and defamatory content against that concerns Mr. Ponnana on social media platforms. Now, some Congress leaders approach the jurisdictional police, prefer a complaint. The police refuse to register an FIR. Then they approach the court, and the court, by way of a judicial order, directs the registration of an FIR against Mr. Vinay and 2 other persons. Now, it is also true that Mr. Vinay had obtained bail. He had obtained an order of stay on the investigation at the hands of the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. Now, to insinuate that Mr. Ponnana has exerted influence or pressure on the police to harass this individual despite the protective orders of the Honorable High Court is impossible, and it is absurd.
How is
and
it impossible?
Let me make it very clear.
How
Let
is
me
it
make it very
impossible?
clear.
How
When
is it
any
impossible?
citizen,
You're speaking
let me
about a
make
person
it.
who is
I did not
unfortunately
interrupt you, Surbi.
1 minute, one
I
after the
understand
other.
your
I'll give you
anxiety.
30 seconds, Surbi. Just finish your comment, Sadaship, quickly.
Yes. Now,
10 seconds
when
to finish your comment.
let me make it very clear. When any citizen, irrespective of political affiliation, they feel defamed or they feel targeted online, then they have every right to legal recourse. Now, approaching the police merely because our MLA was defamed should not be criminalized, and it should not be construed as oppression. Now, the facts of the matter has to come out, and FIR is registered.
This legal defense.
Sadaship, let Surbi make a point. I'll come to you for the last 30 seconds. Go ahead,
This
Surbi, 30
legal
seconds.
defense can come at a court of law. But the fact of the matter is that WhatsApp messages have been circulating in Karnataka today for the entire day, where the MLA's messages is visible to everybody. Fine, then tell me it's doctor, tell me it's not. Do a fair probe. Why is his name not mentioned in the FIR? Why is the police not taking a fair complaint? It took 5 hours for an FIR to be registered. I will share you the entire complaint, the letter given by the brother. All of this is public. Shatavish, we have lost a member.
Important question, Sadaship, respond.
No, Veera Raghavan, I want to tell this very strongly. I want to say this very strongly.
When Mr. Ponnana was defamed publicly, and the Congress leaders go and approach the police,
the amount of torture he must be going through.
Why should it be criminalized? And
Imagine
moreover,
if the name is there,
don't get excited. Relax. This is a public debate on national television.
I will
Don't
not
get excited. Now, Mr. A.F. Ponnana.
Okay, let's just give Sadaship 30 seconds to respond. You've made a very vehement, strong point. So, Surbi, let Sadaship respond. 30 seconds, Sadaship.
I understand her anxiety, and she is harping on some WhatsApp note. Now, an FIR is registered. The Congress government, the Home Minister, will direct a thorough and strict investigation. Let the WhatsApp note be forensically examined. Let the death note come up, whether it is true, whether it is an IT cell by the BJP. Now, see, I also take this opportunity.
I know it's a process of law. It's a tragic incident. I'm just going to pause this debate since both of you are speaking over each other. I'm just going to pause this debate at the moment.
To take some action on misinformation and IT cells, political IT cells.
I'm going to leave this debate right here. Look, it's a tragic incident, and we hope and pray that there will be a thorough probe, and whoever and however powerful they may be are face the law if need be. But we'll leave it there at that on the Southern View. This evening news and updates continue right here on NDTV. Thanks for watching.
From Bangkok to Colombo, Prime Minister Modi's 3-day mission to redefine India's global influence. Economic hawks Richard Rosso and Amitindu Palit decode the India-US tariff standoff and locked up but not forgotten 10,000 Indians behind bars and New Delhi's fierce fight to get them back home.
All this and more only on India Sense with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
One of the worst earthquakes hit Thailand recently, and the tragedy is still unfolding. You can see some sniffer dogs here. Authorities have told me that they had located some vital signs, but they have not been able to pull anyone out. Question as to how did the 4 Chinese nationals manage to get inside such a highly fortified area. They managed to get in. They were successful in getting some 32 documents that established that Chinese connection to this site. It's also about a larger conspiracy that could be at hand, whether the Chinese materials were substandard. All of that will have to be investigated.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
When we spoke the last time you were in India, you did mention that you've actually spent more time in India than American universities. I remember you saying that, and a lot of your thought process has been conditioned by the time you've spent in India. Those formative years, they really shaped you. What, according to you, has been your biggest takeaway from your experiences and learnings during your time in India?
Well, I grew up with Indians. From the age of 5, I was surrounded by Indians. This was a boarding school. So morning, noon, and night, we had Indian friends. Our teachers were all Indian. And as such, Indian values would have automatically permeated within me and shaped me. But more precisely, it is in the classroom. We studied Indian history, ancient history, in civilization, medieval India, modern India, the fight to independence. So all of this would have shaped me, the person I am, and my worldview. But if you ask me one specific thing that has really had a lasting impression on me, it is the National Cadet Corps, NCC. So I took part in the NCC, and I enjoyed every moment in the NCC. And every year we would look forward to taking part in the Independence Day, 15th August March Past in the Mela ground in town with all the other schools and the NCC cadets of all.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching NDTV. As Tamil Nadu Assembly elections of 2026 get closer, the DMK versus Centre battle is all set to get more intense. Now, the NEET controversy in Tamil Nadu took a pivotal turn today as Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, has criticized presidential refusal to exempt the state from the exam, labelling this a dark chapter in federalism. Now, the State Assembly's push for a NEET-free medical admission process has faced stiff persistence for years now. Meanwhile, the opposition party AIDMK has also accused the ruling party DMK of grandstanding without really delivering on promises. Now, the BJP, on the other hand, has said that the DMK is only scared of losing 2026, which is why it is raising these issues again and again and attacking the centre, and that it won't succeed. From the NEP to the three-language formula to the alleged interference of the governor to NEET and a whole range of other matters. Why is federalism key to the DMK's battle against the BJP, and will that work for 2026 campaign? That is what we discuss tonight. Joining us now is Dr. Syed Hafiz, who's the spokesperson of the DMK. We have R.K. Radhakrishnan, senior journalist, and we also have Dr. S.G. Surya, State Secretary of the BJP in Tamil Nadu. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. To you, Surya, first, what is your reaction to this? Because NEET is an extremely emotive issue. We all remember the suicide that took place, a few years ago. This is regarding the lives and also the future of students of Tamil Nadu. How is the BJP looking at this issue?
See, consistently we have been maintaining that this is because the Supreme Court has given an order in favor of NEET in the year 2016, and the BJP is just implementing it. We never had in our manifesto that we will implement NEET in India. In fact, the bill was originally brought by the UPA government. DMK's MOS Health, Gandhi Selvan brought the bill. It was overturned by the Supreme Court in 2013. Again, in 2016, the Supreme Court has brought it. So, to begin with, it is a creation of the court. Secondly, they say they have given scientific evidences through a committee formed by the Tamil Nadu government, which says NEET is anti-Tamil Nadu. We delved into certain data. For example, in page number 79 and 80 of the A.K. Rajan's committee, which was appointed by the Tamil Nadu government, the committee says 99% of the students who cleared NEET in Tamil Nadu have attended coaching classes. Now, don't we need empirical data to prove the same? We have applied in RTI to give us the data. How we have calculated that 99% of the students have attended coaching classes. Do you know the reply that was given by the state government? It says there is no such data. We do not have such data. The data doesn't exist. Then we again go back and ask where this 99% comes from. They have no answers. Like this, I can point you 50 fallacies in the A.K. Rajan committee report, which was concocted just to give a conclusion that NEET should be abolished. There is no scientific study, scientific reason,
but
just
Surya, sometimes
emotive
lived
reasons.
experiences matter so much. I've covered Anna University, and even during engineering, there is a certain sense that the rural children might be at a disadvantage. And how are you going to fight that sentiment? Let me get an RK here. RK, the state's challenge to the NEET system is a long-running one. We all have seen it. In fact, we've all covered it also. The primary argument here is that it benefits students from richer families and sections of society because they can afford intensive coaching and also the preparation that are needed to pass the examination. Now, switching to class 12 marks as the admission criteria the state has argued will ensure social justice. So how important is this issue socially and politically? I'm also asking you because Tamil Nadu is a highly urbanized state. So when we are really talking about rural students, who are we talking about here?
Thank you for the opportunity, Vasudha. Yeah, all that you said is correct. I mean, at least when it comes to mugging up and reproducing that in a class 12 exam, there is some fairness to it because everybody all of us mugged up and wrote our class 10 and class 12 exams. There is some justice to it. But when you create an examination which is completely different from the syllabus that you have studied, state syllabus, then there is an absolute problem right away, which is you have to necessarily prepare for that exam. How do you prepare for that exam? Obviously, you can only prepare if you are if you have the wherewithal. Obviously, you have to go to a coaching center, and then the coaching center will decide how much to charge you for. That is the essential problem here. And of course, the government of Tamil Nadu also opened its own coaching centers, but they are as good as defunct. It's not working well in most of the places. It was more of a show. Obviously, Vasudha, this is a huge issue as far as the DMK is concerned because it has promised. I mean, Udayanidhi Stalin in fact said that he had the magic bullet, or so to speak, to do away with this particular test for the children of Tamil Nadu, but that hasn't happened at all. But one thing you need to remember is that barring S.G. Surya's party, Everybody else is on the same side in Tamil Nadu when it comes to NEET. Every single political party, 58 political parties out of 63 in Tamil Nadu, want a ban on NEET, want the NEP out of Tamil Nadu, do not want the three-language policy, and stand very firmly with the government of the day on delimitation. That is where we stand today. And this essentially boils down. The entire principles, the entire thing is the question of federalism that you can see in 4 different instances playing out.
Right. Mr. Hafiz, let's also talk about the delimitation part here, because, you know, I've been talking to BJP leaders here. All of them are telling me that census is going to take 3 more years, and after that the data is going to take 1 more year to come. So clearly there's nothing that's going to happen before 2026. I know you expect this to come from the government, but clearly there is no commission, there's no announcement of a formula. Do you think that the DMK is also trying to raise these issues because it wants to build on this rhetoric that will help the party during the elections?
Absolutely not. Even before we formed a political party, even before the DMK contested election, federalism was the core issue of the DMK. So that is why it continues to be the core issue. As far as the constitution is concerned, this country is still a federalistic country, not even quasi-federal or a-federal. But every action of the BJP is going towards making it as a federal unitary state. Just because having a state election doesn't mean there is a federal structure. You conduct elections, but you do not listen to the state government elected state government on subjects that are on concurrent list, leave alone the union list. Matters on concurrent list are also being treated as a union list. This is the problem. As far as the delimitation is concerned, this is absolute, irrational for the BJP to debate. You are already not doing the duty of conducting the census in 21, which has to be done, which every poor country has done. Even despite the COVID pandemic, poor African countries are done. Now you're talking about digital and the world largest or the most technically advanced country with the prime minister. You're not even able to do a census. Tell me one reason why you're not going to do the census. Tell me one reason. What is stopping? You have all the time to bring work law. You have all the time to strike down 370. You have all the thing to create chaos in the country. The constitutionally mandated census is not being done, and you come out and say we are going to further not do it for 3 years. That is absolutely ridiculous on the part of the government. As far as the delimitation is concerned, we know how this BJP has acted when it comes to very critical issue. Overnight, they'll bring in 370. There are going to be no discussions. Even the governor of the state who was heading the state that time is not aware of Article 370 going to come. Okay. So this government cannot be trusted. Their sugar-coating words cannot be trusted. This is a very dangerous government against the federalistic structure of the this beautiful country. And we have to be in alarm. We don't have anything to do with politics. As far as the NEET is concerned, SG Surya started with the biggest lie. 2013 Supreme Court struck down the NEET law and said it's against the interest of the poor. Then after they come into power, they amended it and make sure the judgment
let's get in Surya here. Surya, before I ask you to answer the DMK spokesperson's charges, I wanted to ask you, it's been 5 years. People are now talking about Vijay as an opposition to MK Stalin's party. What has the BJP done in the last 5 years? Because we're talking about EPS's meeting with Amit Shah, we're talking about Sengotian's meeting with Amit Shah, but we're really not looking at BJP being that independent party that will take on the DMK, like we talk about the party in Telangana and other states. What has the BJP failed to understand about the people of Tamil Nadu which makes its situation like this in the state?
From Tamil Nadu, it is a very difficult terrain compared to other parts of the country. If you have closely monitored politics for the last 4 years, starting from 2021 July till now, it has been DMK versus BJP all over the state. Every single issue, every single fallacy, even, the government tenders have been cancelled or have been enforced because our state president was just pointing out the scams that the DMK has been doing. Even the DMK leaders, you just check out their political statements of last 4 years. It has been only about Annamalai and BJP. Certainly, we have made inroads. The 2024 election and its result is a testimony. We managed to poll 18% votes on our own with the alliance. In 2014, also we managed, but 2014 we did not head the alliance. We were a junior partner to DMDK and PMK. In 2024, after 10 years, we became the alliance leader. And our alliance led by us polled at 18% votes. Yes, we agree we did not win seats, but certainly we have made great inroads in the state. But if you see, to unseat DMK, whether it is enough or not, whether needed, we need larger alliance, it is for a high command to decide.
Right.
But for now, we are at consensus that DMK should be unseated from the power, and our goal is towards that.
Okay.
Yes, it might take a bit long compared to other states, but certainly we are on the right track.
RK, the DMK's approach to these elections and also towards centre, the fact that it's become a BJP versus DMK battle and also on national issues, do you think that this will also help the DMK address the existing anti-incumbency, the allegations of liquor, scam, or for that matter, even drugs or law and order? Do you think that these are also issues that the DMK will have to work upon to ensure that it comes back to power, because that is not going to be easy?
Yeah, very true, Vasudha. It's impossible to, go and explain delimitation. Maybe, a little bit of it people will understand, but delimitation is not a bread and butter issue. People don't vote on ideologies. People don't vote on bread and butter issues. That is the first thing that I want to say here. The second thing, obviously, is that, what is the narrative today that the DMK is seeking to set? DMK has become this overarching national kind of party, which is talking about delimitation, three-language policy, about federalism and anti-NEET, all of that. Of all these issues, only anti-NEET has attraction because it is taken up by all political parties, and at the same time, it affects the children on a day-to-day basis. Only that has traction. The other issues don't have traction at all. Having said that, I have to also say that if the BJP's primary aim is to dislodge the DMK from power, what it is doing by forcing the AIADMK to get into an alliance with the BJP is to actually take away the chance of AIADMK coming to power. Very simply, BJP doesn't have the traction in Tamil Nadu. It might have increased its vote share. Obviously, it has increased its vote share. I have no doubts and no quarrel about that one. But the problem happens to be that if AIADMK and BJP come together, DMK is winning again because you're going to have Vijay as a third friend, and it is going to be a mess all around. Okay. But if the BJP is a little sagacious, it will ensure that AIADMK has a very strong alliance, including Vijay and all those people, and then it will ensure that the first aim to throw DMK out of power is achieved.
Okay, so the permutations and combinations there, it's a game of political arithmetic. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. As we move on to the other important story today, AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi has jointly moved the Supreme Court to challenge the Waqf Amendment Bill. This legal action comes in the midst of heated parliamentary debates that we witnessed in both houses of the parliament. The bill has been passed by both houses. Mr. Owaisi joins us for a chat. Thank you, Mr. Owaisi, for your time. My first question to you, sir, we all heard your speech and you raised a lot of important points. One of your main contention was the fact that there will be inclusion of non-Muslim members in Waqf councils and also in state Waqf boards. Home Minister Amit Shah has clarified that the non-Muslims in Waqf councils, the ones who will be appointed, will not interfere in religious matters. In fact, he has also said that the government has no intent to do that and that these members will be involved in purely administrative activities. Do you see that as a measure of relief?
See, the Home Minister, unfortunately, being in such an important position, was trying to mislead the Parliament and the nation. If you see the Central Waqf Council, out of the 22 members, 11 can be and will be non-Muslims. 10 have to be Muslims. That is what the law says, in the bill says. You come to the state Waqf board formation, out of 11, compulsory 4 have to be Muslims. The remaining can and will be non-Muslims. So basically, you will be managing the affairs of the Waqf board, which is not possible in the Hindu Endowment Board or in the Jain Endowment Board or in the Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee. That in itself is a grave violation of Article 14, Article 25, freedom of religion, and Article 26, which gives all religious denominations the right to establish and administer and take movable, immovable properties for their religious purposes. So unfortunately, the Home Minister was misleading deliberately.
Also, Mr. Owaisi, several private properties, we're talking about Gurudwara land in Haryana and some temples in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. The Munambam issue has also become a national issue now. Section 40, which has now been removed, With a new bill, these lands will be free for rightful owners. The residents of these places, often from Hindu and Christian communities, have been resisting what they see as completely arbitrary takeover by Waqf boards. These are lived experiences, and it's stories of such people that makes us wonder if there was really a problem with the way Waqf properties were being announced or managed. So this should come as a welcome measure, isn't it?
I have been a member of the Joint Working Committee, and I can share with you right now that when I had asked this particular question along with other members about this so-called misuse of Section 40, the reply we got was in last 30 years, only 518 times the Section 40 was used, and out of that, only 8 people have gone to the court. Now that same Section 40 provisions exist in Tamil Nadu Endowment Board and in Telangana and Andhra Endowment Board. And you require Section 40 because if someone creates a Waqf al Aulad, you have to know what is the Waqf al Aulad. You can use Section 40. Now, in one case, Supreme Court has accepted that with the usage of Section 40, that property was saved. There are cases, you're right, but you can go to the Waqf tribunal. You can go to the courts. Who's stopping you from doing that? But that does not mean that you remove Section 40. You might be having a genuine grievance, but to remove a particular section, omit it, that is completely wrong.
Right. Also, Mr. Owaisi, a major part of your speech was on Waqf by user, which also limiting the Waqf Tribunal's ability to recognize properties based on historical usage. You said that it violates Article 26. Now, the Limitation Act, I understand, is a bar on individuals from filing cases after a certain period of time. Essentially, this provision also ensures that Waqf board is not limited by the statutory time frame of 12 years to file a case. But Mr. Owaisi, over the last few years, we've understood that the country is also a diverse one, that with the history that goes back centuries. So clearly, if there is one Waqf property based on oral traditions, there could be temples based on older oral traditions. So how will a timestamp on a property based on its usage for several decades address a conflict like this?
Madam, do you know that in Transfer of Property Act, there is a thing called hiba? And if a Muslim is dying, orally he can gift his property to his children. That is acceptable. But here, when I'm making a property, I'm saying I'll give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not going to be acceptable. Thirdly, the Waqf user was upheld by the Supreme Court in Ram Mandir judgment. And it is illegal that a government will completely turn a Supreme Court judgment. And please understand, you have to understand, give me 1 minute extra time. See, if you have a property, 123 properties in Delhi, which are illegally occupied by government, according to Sachar Committee. Now, tomorrow, if I go to government against those monuments, right, the government will say, oh no, we have brought Section 3D. Section 3D, not many media people are calling, are mentioning. It was moved on the day of the debate. And 3D say that if it is a protected monument, ancient monument, ASI, forget about it. Because you have enlarged definition, I lose that monument. If it's a government property, government will appoint a designated officer from the government, which is against the principle of natural justice. How can he decide? Thirdly, if I go and say, okay, I want to remove the encroachers, the government is saying we have removed the limit, we will apply Limitation Act. In what way am I going to save my property? If as a Waqf board, I cannot use Waqf by use against the government, where will I use it? The same provision exists in Hindu Endowment Board, Jain Endowment Board. And please understand that a famous jurist called B.N. Mukherjee, he has written, he's an authority on Hindu, he's a famous Hindu jurist. You are denying everything to me, then how can I protect my Waqf property? So there you have created a mechanism. That definition of Waqf by user is completely mera fide. It will not work. You have to see, no one can say, oh, I touched this is Waqf by use. No. Supreme Court has said from time immemorial, there has to be evidence shown that I have been using it for so many years. That becomes Waqf by user. You are denying me. How will the Muslims be able to protect all those properties? And I'm telling you, Kashi, Gyanvapi, Mathura, Sambal Masjid now, the Sambal Masjid, because you added 3D, at the time of registration, it will not be a Waqf property because you added 3D. So I'm losing everything. That is what I have been shouting from rooftops, that this act will take away masjids. I have been proven right, unfortunately, in a bad way, because this 3D clearly says.
But Mr. Owaisi, you are seen as one of the most articulate parliamentarians. Aren't you apprehensive that your politics will be seen as regressive if you oppose what is being seen as an important reform measure?
You are using your majority in parliament. This is a coalition government, not to reform, but to destroy, but to take away all the rights Muslims have. You are by enacting a law, you are waging a war on Muslims. Now, let me give an example. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, as the then Minister of Minority Affairs, had moved one bill in 2014, if my memory serves me right, called Eviction of Unauthorized Occupation Bill, to remove the encroachment. In 2024, that bill was withdrawn. Why did you withdraw that bill? And the MoMA ministry has a scheme called Qawmi Taraqqiyati scheme. In 10 years, how many work properties have you developed? Please tell me. How much revenue have you increased? You are trying to destroy the work board, and then you're saying with a poker face, oh no, we are doing it for reform. You're saying, oh, we are making women the member. What a lie this is. In 95 Act, there was the section said at least 2. Now you have made it mandatory only 2. So these are not reforms. These are legislations made to take away the Muslims' religious identity, to erase them forever. That is what this legislation is trying to do.
Mr. Owaisi, my last question to you, sir. You were part of the JPC on Waqf. Would you at least agree that in the last 2 days, the deliberation that we saw in both houses of the parliament presented an exemplary parliamentary tradition that had gone missing in this whole din of protests and walkouts in the last few sessions?
Well, I'm telling you in a very serious way. It was the BJP MPs were flabbergasted when the truth was told to them. When we started saying all these things, that how there's no difference between a Hindu daan or a temple by usage, mud by usage, Limitation Act doesn't apply on them. Both guy, only a Buddhist and a Hindu can be member. They didn't know how to react. And you know, I mean, I can say now, and also the whole committee proceedings, you know, the shocking part was an organization was called whose members were convicted in blast case, in terrorism cases, and they came and told us. And you know, another amendment that was moved about a work property cannot be in scheduled tribe area of 5th and 6th schedule. Hamdullah Saeed is an honorable member of parliament from Lakshadweep. He's a tribal. Can you take away his right to religion, freedom of religion? Can you take away Article 26? Can you take away Article 14? Can you take away Article 26? Legally a Muslim can be a tribal. How can you make this legislation? So tomorrow in Lakshadweep, all the masjids would not be masjid anymore. The dargahs or khanqahs will not be work property anymore. This is what we're trying to say. Yes, the deliberations happened, but you know, in a week we're sitting for 4 days. Every time 3 hours, 4 hours. It was, you know, I must give credit to all the members, irrespective of which party we belong to, but it was, you were pushing us. And unfortunately, had it been for another 4-5 months, a more fruitful legislation would have come, and the government was not ready, unfortunately, to listen to our viewpoint, to accept all these issues. They just wanted to bulldoze and have their say. So, okay, now they have created an unconstitutional legislation which will be challenged and which will be rejected by the right-thinking people of this country.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Owaisi, for joining us on this broadcast. That is MIM MP Asaduddin Owaisi on the recently passed Waqf bill and also his disagreements with it. His party has already moved Supreme Court against the Waqf Amendment bill. With that, it's a wrap from me. More news and updates on the other side.
I think that there's something that's always there that I just need to uncover. Like, I know I'm gonna get there, but I have to be patient with myself. That's probably the scary part for me. And it's okay, like, if you completely pivot and change. You know, you have to be comfortable with that.
Last year, over 87% of our players won a prize with People's Postcode Lottery.
No! Yes!
And with a share of £15.6 million to be won in the May draws, you could be next.
I've just won the Postcode Lottery.
No!
Twice.
For the chance to win, sign up before midnight on the 30th of April.
Oh my God!
With a share of £15.6 million to be won, the next lucky winner could be you.
Whoa!
Is your door in the drawer?
Few of us ever look after our ears as much as we should, even when hearing loss can interfere with everything that makes us, us. Relationships, passions, independence. But you can keep living the life you love. All the laughing, dancing, and connecting. When you personalize your hearing care with Hidden Hearing, discover how it's possible to keep being you. Hidden Hearing. Your hearing is our expertise.
Protect what matters to you with Simply Safe Home Security. Get our Which Best Buy rated starter pack from under £200. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
With retirement round the corner, I want to spend more time with my family and less time worrying about the numbers. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with funeral costs or even as a gift for the grandkids. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
You got them all right. That's amazing.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 5808 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Get £8 off at selected restaurants on Just Eat. Use code April8 now.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into Smart Family Life Insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000, depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
We know travel can be confusing, so let us inspire you. Welcome to Qatar. Experience it all. World-class hospitality, diverse landscapes from city to sea, and fly there with the Airline of the Year 2022, Qatar Airways. Book now at travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. Travel Up. Flights, hotels, holidays.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, your guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Visit postoffice.co.uk/over50s.
Dulux Standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion, now £15. Feel as proud as a peacock with Wix.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
A very good evening. You're watching India Ascends, coming to you live from Colombo in Sri Lanka. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. Let's start the show as usual with headlines. First up, Prime Minister Modi's neighbourhood power play. India-Sri Lanka ties set for next level upgrade. NDTV World gets you all the latest information from Colombo. Prime Minister Modi's BIMSTEC power play. Prime Minister Modi meets Modi-Yunus, underlines India's key priorities in the first ever meeting since the August 5th revolution that shook Bangladesh last year. Russian President Vladimir Putin's aide makes a big statement, says Ukraine's security guarantees on the table, says Russia is open to some security guarantees. Is this a precursor for the three-year-old war to finally end? The Signal Gate drama is far from over. The Yemen chat leak scandal is now exploding as Pentagon orders a probe against Trump aide Pete Hegseth. What happens next, and will this come all the way to the president, is the key question. And Donald Trump has Marine Le Pen's back. He voices support for the French far-right leader and calls Le Pen trial a witch hunt. All right, the big story this week is from Colombo, Sri Lanka, where Prime Minister Modi is all set to arrive in the next couple of minutes. In fact, Prime Minister Modi's visit will be the first ever by a foreign leader since President Anura Kumara Dissanayake took charge as the new president. What lies ahead between India and Sri Lanka? Well, three key areas of focus: economic engagement, defense, and security and strategic partnerships, all likely to be the focus areas in the three-day visit of Prime Minister Modi, where he's also going to be inaugurating some key projects related to railways, power, and those that are being funded with heavy assistance from India. Remember, this meeting comes at a time when Sri Lankan economy is just beginning to recover from the 2022 economic disaster, where it was India that aided and supported Colombo towards recovery. Since then, the $4 billion credit line that India had extended during those times has helped the Sri Lankan economy significantly, and the next phase of growth and development for Sri Lanka could be what this meeting is all about. Of course, common areas of concern, common strategic areas will be a key focus area. As I said, defense being one of them. A possible mutual cooperation agreement could be on the cards. What will that entail? How will that play out in terms of the Indo-Pacific role and importance of India? And could this be the final card to really cut China to size? Is the key question that we'll watch out for. Tomorrow is when the delegation level talks, the heads of state level talks will take place. And that is when the fine print of the next phase of the India-Sri Lanka relationship would really be known. One thing is clear, that as Prime Minister Modi heads to Anuradhapuram on the third day of his visit, it's a very clear message politically as well as geopolitically, because that's a place that matters both to AKD as well as Prime Minister Modi. So as I said, a lot on the table, a lot of ground to cover, and could really be the most far-reaching and consequential trip in a long time. All right, the first wide-angle story on the show coming in from BIMSTEC. Well, on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC summit, what took place was a very consequential meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Mohammad-Yunus, the first since the 5th of August student revolution that took place in Bangladesh, shook the power equations, ousted Sheikh Hasina, and since then the vitriolic, or some would even say venomous, the conversation coming in from Bangladesh impacting the relationship. This report tells you that what could be the road to recovery for the Dhaka-New Delhi relationship from here on. Take a look.
At the BIMSTEC summit, amidst the diplomatic fury, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's meeting with Bangladesh's chief advisor Mohammad-Yunus wasn't just a routine handshake. It was a bold statement. Modi raised the red flag over the safety of minorities in Bangladesh, particularly Hindus, urging the Bangladeshi government to ensure their security and thoroughly investigate cases of atrocities. But Prime Minister Modi didn't stop there. While he drew the line on critical issues, his message was clear. India remains open to dialogue. Like a responsible big brother, India isn't just pointing fingers, it's offering a hand of constructive engagement.
Prime Minister reiterated India's support for a democratic, stable, peaceful, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. He once again underlined to Professor Yunus India's desire to forge a positive and constructive relationship with Bangladesh.
The Prime Minister touched on border security, emphasizing strict law enforcement and curbing illegal crossings, especially at night. It was a masterstroke, balancing firmness with flexibility, concern with cooperation.
This meeting took place at a time when the centre informed Parliament that 2,400 incidents of violence and atrocities against minorities have been committed in Bangladesh since 5th of August. Remains to be seen what will be the road to recovery after this crucial meeting between the two leaders. Second wide-angle story on the show. Finally, it seems that there could be some peace in sight in the Russia-Ukraine war. Or could this be another measure, another round of optics, with Russia saying that it is now open to security guarantees? It's been over 3 years. The West wants a solution. Which way would it be? Will Putin, who's been dragging his feet, finally come around on the negotiating table? This report has all the answers for you.
In Washington, Russia's top negotiator Kirill Dmitriev hinted at a possible breakthrough. Security guarantees for Ukraine may be acceptable. But don't let the words fool you. This isn't a peace offer, it's a diplomatic smoke signal. After 2 days of talks with Trump's envoy, Dmitriev claimed a positive outcome. Yet, Ukraine continues to face relentless missile strikes, civilian casualties, and an impending Russian offensive. Meanwhile, Britain and France accuse Putin of dragging his feet, calling his tactics a classic case of buying time while the clock runs out. As Ukraine's allies push for a ceasefire, Russia's message is clear. We'll talk, but we'll also fight. With NATO's coalition ready to police any future peace deal, the question remains, will Putin play ball, or is this just another round of diplomatic theatre?
All right, on that note, a quick break. We come back with lots more on the other side. Stay with us.
This baby bear is terrified, torn from her mother's paws at a tender age. They will force her to live alone in a tiny, filthy cage, like so many bears driven mad by loneliness, rubbing their wounds raw against the bars, suffering cruelly day after day, year after year, just for people's entertainment. Four Paws found little Potap crammed into a tiny, squalid cage. He'd been there for almost 9 years, lonely and isolated. There are so many more young bears who need your help. Please call 0800 038 0455 or text CUB3 to 78866 and give £2 a month to help rescue them. Every month, Your £2 could help us free more bears, help give bears the veterinary care they need, and help them live happy, healthy lives in the freedom of our natural sanctuaries. Call 0800 038 0455 or text CUB3 to 78866 and give £2 a month and help Four Paws free bears from agonising torture. Please, don't leave these bears to suffer for a single day more.
Will you tell me if I'm flying to Delhi to New York, can I take a stopover in Dubai to explore, or do you think it'll be too hectic?
Looking for holiday and flight recommendations in strange places? Don't. Just come to Brightson. Brightson Travel, making travel brighter.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements or for some of life's big moments. Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring, because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
Welcome back. You're watching India Sense. I now turn attention to a story that's probably distressing because it talks about the plight of our countrymen who are now trapped in jails overseas under harsh conditions in Saudi Arabia, UAE, and we're talking about large numbers, 10,000 Indians. This report tells you what has the government been doing to try and get them back, and which are those countries where they've been trapped the most. Take a look.
The iron bars of foreign jails, cold stone walls, and the silence of uncertainty. This is the grim reality for over 10,000 Indian nationals languishing behind bars in 86 countries. Some as under trials, some enduring sentences that seem to have no end in sight. Saudi Arabia and the UAE, where more than 4,000 Indians are incarcerated, top this disturbing list. In recent years, many have found themselves behind bars, with reasons ranging from petty offences to unfortunate legal missteps. The Indian government's response, led by the Ministry of External Affairs, is unwavering, constantly working with local authorities for their release. Yet, despite transfer of sentenced prisons agreement with 12 countries, only 8 prisoners have been brought back to India in the last 3 years. But hope is not lost. Since 2014, India's diplomatic efforts have yielded great results. Nearly 10,000 Indians have been released from foreign prisons, thanks to persistent negotiations and personal intervention from Prime Minister Modi. The release of Indian prisoners from countries like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain and Qatar highlights a growing global diplomatic posture and stature for India. High-profile cases such as the release of Indian Navy veterans from Qatar and the freeing of Indian fishermen from Sri Lanka only underline successful negotiations. This isn't just an issue about prisoners, it's about the lives and families left behind. It's about the unseen struggles of those who wait, waiting for justice, waiting for the return of their loved ones. As this battle continues to unfold, one thing remains clear. India is not backing down, the fight for freedom is far from over, and the voices of those behind bars will not go unheard.
All right, let's now turn attention to Marine Le Pen, the embattled French far-right leader.